Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Gen X Lounge, the bi-weekly-ish podcast where we discuss pop culture today and look back at the pop culture yesterday, but mostly we just shoot the shit. This is episode 42. I am your host, Brian. Today with me in the lounge. Who do we got?
You will not see nothing like the mighty Quinn.
Hey, that's me. How are you, fellas?
Hello.
Hello.
And we got Bolo.
Hey,
That's
what's
my
up,
favorite.
y'all? How we doing?
Super. And
We're
also
good.
fresh from cleaning up cat pee.
Speaking of super,
Dutch is here.
yeah,
When
can't wait till
crypto-
Wednesday.
If crypto like pees on a tree, does the tree like fall over from the force?
It should.
God willing.
Dutch is here, everybody. Dutch is here.
And since he can fly, does he just go when he's in the air
He just go wherever he wants.
like a bird?
Or a plane.
Yeah. Yeah. Does he? Is it like a jumbo jet where they just drop like frozen chunks of of waste over the ocean?
That they hope would dissipate in the atmosphere, but not
Yeah.
always.
Like, did Kyle have to train him to like only poop or pee when he's not flying over urban centers? Hey, if you're just joining us for the first time, I apologize.
And
You know
you
what's
happen
funny?
to know how crypto goes to the bathroom.
Yeah, if you ever wanted to know, how does crypto go to the bathroom? I get podcast stats. It's like super hard to judge or like accurately find podcast stats. But from what I've gathered, what do you think our most listened to episode is? It's
I would say-
fairly recent. I'll say that.
Oh, well, then I don't know. I was going to say the day after episode.
Yeah, it might not be fairly recent, but since we've switched our carrier, so a lot of the older ones only show like 10 or whatever, but it's because it's on our new carrier. But on our current carrier, our most popular episode is episode 36, Champions, which is the episode where the Eagles won the Super Bowl. So,
That tracks.
I think that's interesting. Like, it's funny too because I'll get an alert like randomly once or twice a week that somebody downloaded that episode, and I'm like, huh, because it doesn't even really specify that it's Eagles or football centric. It just says Champions. You know what I mean? It could be.
Yeah, but I'm sure it pops up in a million people's feeds. You know what I mean?
I hashtagged it Eagles and stuff like that when I originally put it out. So maybe that's
There you go.
why. I don't know.
Yes, and the timing of it too. Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe it was the one where everybody thought Jessica Alba was kidnapped.
That might have been the same episode. I don't remember what episode I got clickbaited live on air.
I don't know. I was gonna go with one of our OJ Simpson fucking episodes, but
I thought that was great
Yeah.
too.
One of them.
Yeah, we've done a couple. Real quick, I mean, since I brought up the Eagles,
Ready for some football.
stop it.
the NFL announced the first game of the season today will be
Exciting.
September 4th, Thursday night game. The mighty Eagles of Philadelphia versus the forever sucking Dallas Cowboys. So that's awesome. The rest of the schedule will be coming out on Wednesday, the 14th. So in a couple days. It is Monday. Yesterday was Mother's Day. I hope everybody had a special Mother's Day with their mothers, wives, baby mamas, whatever, grandmothers.
Some of y'all being motherfuckers, literally.
Yeah. We had a fucking feast at my in-laws.
I love how that just sent Bolo.
My wife
great.
came down. Oh, she flashed me.
Oh, there
Randy,
you go.
no, not on the air. How dare
Honk, honk. Honk, 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 honk.
Randy
Honk,
Bolo's
honk.
making honk honk noises.
Honk, honk.
Um,
And squeezy hands.
Oh my god, we're gonna have to edit this one too.
Now it's
no,
getting weird.
There was nothing dirty. Nothing
we had
dirty.
we had a really good dinner yesterday for Mother's Day. My father-in-law smoked some ribs. They were fucking
Nice.
We had mac and cheese. We had
Oh,
scalloped
boy.
potatoes. We had carrot cake.
Nice.
Do you have wedding soup?
We did not have wedding. They're not Italian. They are from Kentucky.
Yeah.
Oh,
There was
So
3
you-
carbs that were mentioned. You definitely committed carbs.
We had there was not a
I was gonna say,
vegetable. Yeah.
There's no Kentucky wedding soup. Or...
The carrot cake is the only thing that could constitute a vegetable in that meal.
you are speaking my language now.
Yeah,
There you go.
It was
Cake.
Good. It was good.
No, just no vegetables, smoked ribs. Bring it home.
Yeah. But back to the NFL. So yeah, they're trickling out the schedule, which is stupid. Just put the schedule out. But so that's nice though. The Eagles open the season. Also pertinent to all 4 of us because we're all Sixers fans. The draft lottery just ended and the Sixers got the number 3 pick. So
That's higher than I thought.
Yeah.
I was pretty happy. I was really worried if they got lower than 6, they automatically lost the pick to the Oklahoma City Thunder, who I think had the 2nd best record in the league this year. So that would have sucked. Guess who got the first pick? The Dallas Mavericks after they traded Luka. What a coincidence.
Yeah. That's not rigged at all.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Completely on the level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely not rigged.
I wonder what
too big to rig. Too big to rig.
It is too big to rig. Anybody want to feel old?
Yeah.
I'm already
Already do, but yeah, sure.
Give me a second because I gotta find the thing.
For this shit.
So I took this is actually like a month or so ago. I took my daughter to see this this singer named M.A. It's E-M-E-I is how it's spelled, I think. So we took her to see her. She's like, I guess she got popular through Instagram. Like she uploads all her music on Instagram, which is how my daughter found her.
Okay.
But she's pretty good. And it was at the Foundry in Philly, which if you've never been, it holds like 300 people or something.
Yep.
It was like a super small show. So I took her to that and it was pretty cool. There were some dads there along with me, so that wasn't too bad. But yeah, I let her get all the way to the front and she just rocked out. So she had a good time. But she sings a song called Ferris Bueller.
Okay.
Which goes like this.
I could be someone like Ferris Bueller, sing on top of huge parades and do whatever. Said I'm sending emails for like 15 hours. I gotta take off.
So
I need a day off.
By the way, Brian, for whatever reason, and I don't know why, I cannot hear any of the music samples. Fuck it. Anyway,
I couldn't hear anything Dutch said.
because of the music the Dutch can't hear. So yeah, that's the song. And so I asked her, I was like, do you know who Ferris Bueller is? And she's like, no. And so I got her to do a informal poll of her classmates. And so 10 out of 10 of the class of 2030, 0 of them knew who Ferris Bueller was.
Oh, wow.
that is very depressing.
Yeah, but it's not surprising, is it? You know what I mean? That's when I was your age, I don't think I had seen Ferris Bueller either.
Yeah, you probably did. It probably came out when you were in 7th grade.
I'm saying it's a teenage, it's a late teen movie. It's a high school movie.
Yeah, she literally just texted me right now. No one knew Ferris Bueller. Like, yep. I know. You told me. Yeah, so. But she also doesn't know who Fonzie is, which is maybe less surprising. But
yeah, that hurt.
I asked her, I was like, who's cooler, me or mom? And she was like, oh, you. And I was like, oh, cool. She's like, well, don't get it wrong. You're not that cool. I was like,
I don't even know where to go with that one.
And I was like, well,
by comparison, you.
yeah. And I was like, well, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being Fonzie, how cool am I? And she's like, who's Fonzie?
She's like, now you're a zero.
She's like, yeah. Now she's like, actually, I think Mom might be cooler.
That is awesome.
Oh God. All right. Let's I don't have a ton of news, so let's do what news I have. Can you hear that music, Dutch?
Nope.
Oh man. That's very strange.
That's odd.
Yeah, it's really weird. News. First up, we got the Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolts that has been renamed to the New Avengers. It's not actually official, but they did really like rolled that out pretty hardcore last week.
Yes, they did.
Not long after the movie came out, which I'm assuming is because the movie didn't open how they wanted it to.
It's a pretty genius move regardless in the second week. You know what I mean? Where things typically drop off.
Yeah.
It's almost like a new opening day. So that's pretty savvy, even though it's misleading.
Yeah. You said drop off too. It's of the 36 Marvel movies, it had the 15th worst or best. It was number 15 in terms of drop off from the 1 week to the next. Still though, it's only made 127 million domestically, which is pacing for less than Captain Falcon New World Order of Bravery or whatever the fuck that movie's called. Yeah, which isn't great because I think we'll get into Thunderbolts more
in depth
later on. Yeah, but I mean, I feel like word of mouth on that movie has been pretty positive. So I just think people.
I think so, but its biggest MCU star, is Bucky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you don't watch the TV shows, you're not going to know who any of those people are really. You've seen the two Russian folks in there, but that's it. You don't know. You don't really know why Julia Louis-Dreyfus is in there, right? What was she in? 2 movies?
She was in Wakanda Forever.
She was in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Well, movie wise though, what was she in? I mean,
movie wise, gotcha. Well,
She was actually in the end of Black Widow, and she's in the end, or she's in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, like, a lot of people know who the hell Florence Pugh is, and I mean, she was in Black Widow. She was in Hawkeye.
Yeah.
So I feel like she has some star power, especially after Oppenheimer.
Yeah, I just feel like
if you're talking about MCU characters, Winter Soldier's the only real
recognizable.
Yeah, I mean, Florence Pugh would be the next one, but there's nobody else. So I'm not surprised that it's not a huge draw. The fact that it's good is good, but I mean, I don't think we've done our reviews, but they said it was like Captain America, Winter Soldier. I would disagree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I wouldn't agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like it's maybe people are just burned out of Marvel stuff. And like, if you didn't see Falcon and Winter Soldier, you would have no idea who U.S. Agent is or whatever he's going by in that.
John Walker, U.S. Agent.
Yeah. You would just be confused. You would be like, why is that guy dressed as Captain America?
They talk about it a little bit, but not enough to give you, you know.
Yeah. So I don't know. But we'll get into Thunderbolts a bit more when we get into what we're watching. Here's a good one. Not the Golden Gloves. Golden Globes are adding a new category in 2026 for the best podcast. So I think maybe we'll submit that number that Champions episode.
That would be great.
We've already made an enemy of George Clooney, so I don't know what our chances would be.
Yeah, I know. But my real hatred lies with Jared Leto. Deadline released the list of the biggest bombs of 2024.
I saw it.
You've seen it. All right. Craven was 5 with
I watched it.
A loss of $72 million.
Hang on, there is an awesome movie on this list.
Yes, there absolutely is. Yeah. Megalopolis is not in. Huh?
I said top 5 bombs of last year, and one of them is awesome.
Yeah, one of them deserves to be in the top 5 best movies of last year. In fact, it was in mine. It was not Megalopolis though, which lost $76 million. Borderlands lost $80 million. The one that does not belong on here in any way, shape, or form, Furiosa, which lost $119 million.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me because of how well received fucking Fury Road was.
Yeah.
Furiosa is a good movie.
I'm trying to think back of when we did our favorite movies last year. It was in my top 5. It might have been in my top 3. It might have been number 1. I honestly don't remember, but it was
On my list pretty high. I don't remember it everywhere, but it was up there.
It's so good. And then Joker 2 was the big winner at minus $144 million.
Winner in quote.
Dude.
Yeah. So yeah. Some more Marvel news. Hawkeye season 2. Jeremy Renner did an interview saying that Disney offered him half of his salary from season 1 to do season 2.
Yeah.
He said he did not want to raise, but he was not going to take a pay cut of a half. There's a little bit more that came out on that since then. They said it was the whole season they were going to set it in one location. And it was going to be like him and new Hawkeye and somebody else versus Hawkeye's brother, who I don't know who Hawkeye's brother is. But he's never been mentioned before, so maybe it's for the best that they just don't do a season 2. Apparently, the reason for them lowballing him like that is because they didn't actually want to do a season 2. In which case, why bother at all? Just don't bother. So,
I was thinking it might be because they just marginalized the character. Maybe he's not in the show a lot, and they're focusing on Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah, maybe he's just going to be like a mentor. Yeah, I don't know. It's
but
weird.
I love that show so much. Like, I'll watch that. I've watched that every year since it's come out.
Yeah, it's my favorite Disney Plus show. It's fucking great.
Really?
Yeah. Not sure. Take this with a grain of salt, but it looks like Guy Ritchie is set to direct Roadhouse 2.
I saw that.
Is this Gyllenhaal again?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't think the MMA piece of
Conor
shit
McGregor
going to be in it again. Yeah.
Did you say Ewan McGregor?
No, not Ewan McGregor.
Conor McGregor.
YouTube is I'm so happy about this. A giant evil corporation does something right for a change. YouTube is demonetizing and now have started actively banning accounts for posting fake movie trailers. Which, thank you. That shit annoys the fuck out of me.
Same.
Yes, we cannot have Bolo getting fooled anymore.
Yeah, dude, I got fooled from the day the Fantastic Four trailer dropped. Like, I had it timed, and I went on there and downloaded the trailer, and I was like, "This looks fucking terrible." And then I went on to Reddit, and there was a whole chunk of people that were like, "Did anybody download that fake one first, or view that fake one first?" Because it was the first one that popped up in my algorithm. So,
damn.
Yeah, and that's really all they do. They just use like clips from other movies and AI, and they just put
voiceovers,
garbage trailers together, and they have like millions and millions and millions of views. So meanwhile,
you know what's not going to be a fake trailer?
The one on Wednesday,
the one that's coming out Wednesday, baby.
But me and you are the only two that are going to watch it out of the 4.
This is true.
You have to let me know how it is because I'm gonna stay away from that shit.
Yeah, I'm with Quinn on that. I will not be watching it. I'm trying to enjoy every piece of goodness on the big screen. I don't want to be spoiled.
We're going to talk about that a little bit more when we talk about Thunderbolts too, because I think Thunderbolt, even though I did not watch the last 2 trailers, I went into that movie because of the trailers, thinking things that weren't quite accurate. And also, sometimes it's good, but I think a lot of things were shown to me that I didn't need to necessarily see until the movie. So, yeah. So, and then there was an article in Vogue. I just read it. It was pretty good. It's short. It's called "Hear Me Out. What if Gen Xers are actually the cool ones. So it makes a pretty powerful argument that we are cool.
We are cool.
which
I
we
love
do
it.
every 2 weeks.
So cool. Was it written by a millennial?
I think it was written by a millennial. Yeah.
Gen Z. I don't know the difference.
Also, I saw something today that was retired, like 55 plus communities. Like the older residents, like the 70, 80-year-old residents, are very unhappy with the new influx of 55 to 60-year-olds because they're not behaving the right way. Like they have parties on the weekends and they play music loud while they're in their yards and shit like that. Which is pretty awesome, honestly. Yeah. So I thought that was like, go us. Hey, it's been a couple weeks, but you know what?
Those are our older brothers and sisters.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. Trailers. We got some trailers. Guess we'll do some trailers. Hang on. Here we go.
Coming soon to a theater near you.
All right, we got some trailers. The first one, The Unholy Trinity, which is a Western.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, a Western in this economy. What are you kidding me? That looks great, man. Samuel L. Jackson and Pierce Brosnan.
Yes.
Come on.
It looks fantastic.
I actually thought it was, when I first started watching, I thought it was a sequel to The Hateful Eight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, is that the same character?
Yeah. I'm psyched. I love a good Western. So
I also love a Western.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that. Then we got The Long Walk.
Yo, that trailer, holy shit. I watched it. I didn't watch it on my phone. I remember you sending it, and then I watched it on I think I watched it on the big screen while my wife was in the bathroom. She was doing something, and I watched it, and I was just like, oh dear God. I was like, that is horrific.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm super excited. Written by Richard Bachman, aka Stephen King.
Hey.
And it was in the Bachman books, right? It was part of the 4 stories in the Bachman books. So it was,
and I didn't know what I was going into when I was looking at that trailer.
Oh, really? Okay. So have you read the Bachman books, or you had no clue at all?
A billion years ago, I did.
Yeah, I read them in high school. If you have the original printing of that, which I should see if Brandy does because she has a ton. The one of the stories is about a kid who shoots some kids in his class, or he shoots his teacher or something in his class, and it's been
they don't print it anymore.
Stephen King actually had it taken out of print on his own. Yeah, but so yeah, that story's in there. The Running Man is part of the Bachman books. The Long Walk is part of the Bachman books, and is The Stand? No, The Stand's in different seasons, I think. But yeah, it looks fucking great. He wrote that when he was 18, before he had anything published.
Wow.
And then he waited till he had some cachet, I guess, to put it out there. Yeah, it looks great. In the book, they have to walk at a steady 4 miles an hour, which, if you've ever attempted to do that, whether on purpose or on a treadmill, just for shits and giggles, it's extremely hard to walk 4 miles an hour. Supposedly, that was a screw up in the book that he had his 4 kilometers an hour or something. I don't know. But in the movie, it's 3 miles an hour, which is a much more reasonable pace. But, if you've never read the book, I mean, they have to continually walk. They cannot stop for any reason. They get 3 stops before they're shot. But
they make the preview, weren't they like counting to 20 or something like that?
But they can make up a stop. Yeah, they can make up a stop every hour or something like that. But I forget exactly how it works. But if they have to go to the bathroom, keep walking. If you have to, like your shoe falls apart, keep walking. You cannot stop walking for any reason until there is no one left walking.
It's like speed on foot.
Yeah. So I'm super excited about that. That's probably one I'll see in the theater. And then Quinn, you sent this one, Honey Don't, which
right.
looks really good. It's by not the Coen brothers, but a Coen brother. I forget which one, but it's got Aubrey Plaza, who I love.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Evans playing a scumbag, which I always love.
Yeah, he's great at that.
I love scumbag Chris Evans, dude. He's good. He's so good at it too. I feel like he really digs doing that after playing Captain America.
Yeah, he's like a preacher, right? Like a TV preacher.
It's like a televangelist or something. Yeah,
evangelist. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, that looks good.
Who's in that?
We got yesterday. Was it yesterday? 2 days ago? Peacemaker season 2 trailer dropped.
Yep,
which looks awesome.
Yeah, I'm super fucking excited about that one. Quinn, I know you're not a fan, or you didn't.
Yeah,
you didn't finish it, but god damn, that show was good, and it just looks like more of the goodness. I'm super psyched, dude. The stuff with Guy Gardner and Hawk Girl is pretty funny. They're like interviewing him. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm real psyched about that. And that is in the new DCU. It's part of the whole world that James Gunn is doing.
Yep.
Was that a first thing at the end of that? Is that what I'm supposed to do?
Yeah, I wonder if that's how they're going to do it, if he's going to kill his other version of himself. I don't know. And then, last but not least, we got a teaser trailer for Godzilla X Kong Supernova, and that is coming out 2027. Seems a little premature to shoot out a teaser trailer, but as we discussed last episode, Sam Neill is in that. Also, Caitlin Dever, I'm not sure how you say it, from The Last of Us is in it as well, apparently. So, yeah, cool. And that's trailers.
But the question is, Brian, did you read all that binary?
Oh, I
code?
did. I think I'm going to resurrect my Godzilla YouTube channel and do a 25-minute breakdown of that trailer.
Space Godzilla. Watch this, Space Godzilla.
Yes.
This.
Yeah.
Dude, I went down that too. I was like, oh shit, it does say Space Godzilla, but in what order is it? I don't know.
I mean, yeah, dude, there's probably not even really a script yet. Like that, nothing in that teaser will appear in the movie.
I'll tell you what, I would legitimately laugh my ass off if they were like, no, it is Space Godzilla. Fuck all y'all. Space
Godzilla sucked.
Hey.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
I like me some Space Godzilla.
Oh, terrible. Stupid monster.
Fuck you.
I got an advertisement in my Facebook feed for Godzilla ice cubes, and I was like, this podcast has infected my phone.
Oh, dude, I got that ad for Godzilla ice cubes also. Yeah.
I got those too. And you know damn well if you actually got those things would not turn out.
Absolutely not. No, hell no.
Those fucking AI generated ice cubes.
Because I was thinking, because Josie makes
True to the internet, we already shit on the Godzilla ice cube.
Yeah. Should I order them? Should I order them so we can review them?
That's a good idea, as long as you're the one ordering them.
Josie makes epoxy animals, and a lot of the molds are like that flexible ice cube material. So I wonder if I got
rubber?
them.
Silicone?
Yeah, like silicone. Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. But I wonder if I got them, she could make.
Use those in breast implants, sir.
Yeah.
Well, she uses them to make silicone bunnies and elephants. But I wonder if she could make, like miniature, little silicone Godzillas. Not silicone, epoxy Godzillas. Excuse me. That right there might be worth it. It's probably AI generated nonsense, and I'll probably get nothing. So yeah, Space Godzilla's not a cool monster, but you know who is a cool monster?
Dogmen.
Dogman.
You know, it fucking figures that the first time you guys actually play it when I'm on here, I can't hear the damn thing.
I know it's making me nervous. What if none of the music's coming through? God, I don't have to actually learn how to edit.
No,
Not
I
just
think all those guys are hearing it.
It's the barking that makes that song for me.
Yeah. Could 40,000 dogmen remain hidden? Ask some Reddit user. Some may wonder, how could a population of 40,000 dogmen roam North America yet remain undetected for so long? Now, I don't know where he's getting the 40,000. Did he just make up that there's 40,000 dogmen? Is there like some... At that density, only a handful would occupy every 1,000 square miles. Which, okay. Moving under cover of darkness, deep in remote wilderness where human presence is minimal. An analogy may be helpful. Imagine a Delta Force unit deployed in hostile territory, conducting a covert operation across a 300 square mile wilderness with dense forests, ample cover, and abundant wildlife for all subsistence. If they operate mostly at night, what are the chances that ordinary civilians native to that territory, untrained in tracking or reconnaissance, would ever detect them? To ask the question is to answer it. The ones most likely to notice them are those who know the land intimately: hunters, trappers, farmers, and fishermen. Individuals who navigate these environments daily and, crucially, are sometimes active after dusk. And unsurprisingly, those are the very people who report seeing dogmen most often. And then, in all caps and bold, if you see them, it's because they allowed it. Here's some of the top comments. Someone needs to fucking catch one so the debate can be over. Which I concur. The follow-up comment: the government has certainly caught many and likely used them as a tool and probably experiment on the ones they have caught. The follow-up comment is: yes, they have captured dogmen, mostly for genetic engineering, from what I would guess.
Just like the Buddhist quote he threw out there.
Yes, I know.
Ask the question, it's to answer it.
I feel like you would hear that in a conversation about Dogman. or 40,000 dogmen.
I love the certainty of the comment. Yes, the government has captured them. Okay.
And does experiments on them. I think it devolved at one point into people were like, they're obviously using them to for war and for it's like the dinosaurs in the Jurassic World movies.
You can tell in all the how, Brian, you're in that feed a lot. Like, how much of it do you think is just people trolling?
People bullshitting? Yeah, I don't know. It's probably like 50-50 maybe. I don't know. There's definitely some true believers. I actually don't subscribe to that feed on purpose, but every now and then when I'm like, oh, we haven't done a Dogman in a while, I'll poke my head in and try to find something. But yeah. So,
dude.
Oh God.
I would go on there and just tell a random Dogman story, complete with as many details as I can make up.
Yeah. Did I read you the one where the Dogman was chasing the car? Did I do that one?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, you have to put them in like a different setting. Like the Dogman tried to chase you through your high-rise apartment or something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Something that'll rattle that community.
Yeah. Yeah, it would actually be like, well, I wonder how much, I mean, a lot of Reddit, I feel like, is creative writing exercises anyway.
Sure.
So I'm curious, like, how much of it actually is, creative writing. So who knows? Dogman. That's our Dogman minute. Thank you, Dogman. Theme song. All right. Let's go.
Back in the day.
Guess this is back in the day.
It is back in the day, Dutch. Back in the day. So I don't have a specific thing, but I have a few things. And what I mostly have is some May facts and a few dives on some of the facts. So I actually have a lot of May facts, and I figured I'd split them up. So we'd go from like 0 AD to 1989, and then we could go 1990 to present in the next, or not really present because we don't really get that far in, but in the next episode. So we'll split the May facts into 2 episodes. So going from 0 AD to 1999 May facts, mostly pop culture related, but some not necessarily. But this one's definitely pop culture related. May 1934, the first Three Stooges short, Woman Haters, was released. That is the one where the guys violently hit each other, and and then it ends with them running off into the distance as the music plays. I think we've all seen that one at least once.
Were you guys big Three Stooges fans growing up?
Oh, absolutely.
I watched it
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like it was on after school fairly regularly. And also out here, it was always on Sunday mornings.
Yeah.
So we would watch it when we got home from church.
On Channel 20 out here.
Yeah. I love them. They're still on Saturday nights at 7, and I'll still kick them on occasionally on MeTV.
My parents always liked that I loved them. You know what I mean? It was almost like they were proud of it.
Yeah. There's God, it's in PA. I'm gonna say it's about an hour from here, but I can't think of exactly where it is. But there's a Three Stooges museum called the Stoogium. And because it's in the hometown where Larry grew up. And it's run by some of his relatives.
Didn't Larry grow up in Philadelphia?
Yeah, it's right outside Philly.
Is it Doylestown?
It might be. Google it real quick, Stoogium. But it is well worth the price of admission. I went. My uncle is a big fan, so maybe like 6 or 7 years ago, for his birthday's near mine, we went for our birthday, me, him, and my dad, and I thought we'd be like in and out. Like I was like, we're probably gonna make this drive, and it'll probably be 45 minutes. And dude, it was super cool. They had so much shit there, like crazy shit too. Like if you ever want to see like Larry's draft card, you know what I mean? Like just crazy stuff. There's a theater that they just play the shorts on a loop.
I was gonna say it's in like Springhouse, which is near like Maple Glen, Bluebell.
It's not far from here. I want to say it was like a 45-minute hour drive, maybe.
Yeah. It's like not far from like Norristown, Plymouth Meeting. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, like it's not something you would do like regularly, but you know, to do it once, I would say is worth it. It was pretty cool. But yeah, I always loved the Stooges. Who's the best Stooge?
If you'd asked me as a kid, I would have said Curly, but I got to go with Mo.
Yeah, I think as an adult, Mo is my favorite. As a kid, though, I was a Shemp guy, man. I always, and I still am. I think Shemp's funnier than Curly.
I was never a Shemp guy, but as a kid, because I loved Curly so much. You know what I mean? I had a grudge against him that he probably didn't deserve. So
he's legitimately funny in other stuff too. Like Shemp's been in a lot of other comedies, where most of the Stooges were just in the Stooges type stuff. But yeah, Shemp's really fucking funny. They're all great.
Yeah. I think I was a Curly guy myself, personally.
Yeah, I mean,
humor, with the weird accent.
Yeah.
Favorite Stooges short. There's so many good ones.
Oh, it's the Slowly I Turn.
Oh yeah, Niagara Falls.
Falls. Yeah.
That one's great. The one where they're in court. I think it's Disorder in the Court. Where, he's like, take off your hat. Raise your right hand. Take off your hat. He's like, do you swear? No, but I know the words. That one's great. And then I think
man
has to get married, and it just keeps the preacher's just like, join hands, you love birds, over as he's trying to get him to marry.
What was the one Mo turns into Hitler?
Oh, dude,
nah.
Spy, or you're not it's supposed to be like nasty spy. Yeah, that one's great too. 1941 May, Citizen Kane debuts at the Arcade Palace Theater in New York City. I've only seen Citizen Kane one time.
I've never seen that.
You're not. It's a slow movie.
routinely wins like best movie of all time.
Yeah.
I had seen it and I was just like, yeah, what's the big deal? But then I had taken a film class and you get to see like the history of film, like what came before it and what a jump that is.
Yeah, it's like a massive. Yeah.
It'd be like if The Matrix came out in the 70s, like in its current form. You know what I mean?
It was like things had never been done like that before. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So from that respect, I was like, all right, I get it. I can see it as its own movie. Like looking at it now, it's fine.
Yeah, to say it's the best movie ever made, no, but maybe in the top 10 most important movies ever made. You know, I give it that maybe. 1952, the Kentucky Derby was televised nationally for the first time on CBS. Here's one that is near and dear to my heart. May 1963, Dr. No, starring Sean Connery, opened in theaters. That, of course, being the first James Bond movie. And to me, it's a top 5 James Bond movie. I love Dr. No.
What year?
1963. Don't question my James Bond knowledge.
Here or in the United Kingdom?
No, I don't know.
Oh, who cares?
That movie, I was gonna say because that movie came out in 1960 man. Come on.
Oh, it must have been here then. But yeah, that movie's fucking great. The first 4 Bond movies are like the best Bond movies. Period.
The early Bond movies are great.
Yeah, they're so good, man.
Shit.
May 1977, a little movie named Star Wars opened on Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And it did good, and then we've never heard anything from that since. May 1980, Bob Marley died from lung cancer. Bob Marley, who lived in Wilmington, Delaware, briefly. As
you guys big Bob Marley fans?
Huh?
You guys big Bob Marley fans?
I'm a fan.
Yeah, I like Bob Marley. I'm not going to turn it off if it comes on. I might not put it on. I feel like it's a little cliche now to put it on. Like if I'm having a barbecue, like I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna.
You're gonna roll with the vibe, boy.
Yeah, it's fine. I like him. Yeah. For some reason, this was a huge deal to me, and maybe to you guys. Probably not you, Dutch, but when I was in elementary school, in 1980, when Mount St. Helens erupted in Washington State. With a 5.1 magnitude earthquake causing an avalanche and killing 57 people. And for some reason, that was like a huge deal when I was in, I guess, first grade. Like we used to, we used to blow through the straw into our milk cartons, and we'd be like, Mount St. Helens is about to erupt, and it would blow as hard as we could into our milk cartons and make the milk shoot out.
I don't know that I would know Mount St. Helens. You know what I mean? Like that was pretty big news back in the day, and we were kids. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, it was a big deal. Also in 1980, Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back was released in theaters. At the time, we just called it The Empire Strikes Back. However, it was not called Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. But yeah, and I had an Empire Strikes Back lunchbox, and I don't think I really knew what it all was about. I think I just got the lunchbox. Other 1980 movies.
That one in the theater.
Did you? Yeah, I did not. I did not see Star Wars till HBO showed the original, and that's when I saw it. Also, 1980 movies: The Shining, Friday the 13th.
Don't you mean The Shinning?
The Shinning, no. Don't you want to say that? You'll get chewed. Friday the 13th. Fame, and a personal favorite of mine that maybe you've seen, Dutch, a little cult classic called Humanoids from the Deep.
I remember that.
I fucking love that movie, man. On the floor.
That movie. What is that?
It is a very schlocky horror movie starring Doug McClure in the waning part of his career. And it's about humanoids from the deep who come out and kill people. And Roger Corman, I believe, got a hold of it before it came out and said this movie needs a lot more sex. So he just added a ton of gratuitous breast shots to it from the various females. But as a movie and as the monster effects are fucking great. Some of the kills are super, super violent and over the top for an 80s movie. Super fun movie. I love that movie. 1981, The Lone Ranger, or excuse me, The Legend of the Lone Ranger was released. Does anyone remember this movie?
I remember that movie because I went to see it.
Did you really?
I think I did. I was a Lone Ranger fan as a kid, so I saw that movie.
I remember my dad being super excited about it.
And it was a dud.
Yeah, and then I remember when it came on HBO, we watched it, and it was, and even I was probably second grade or something. Mm-hmm. Even I was like, this is not a good movie.
It's not good. Yeah,
and I forgot about it until doing this, and then so I did a little bit of a deep dive on it because I remember it being like a flop.
Yeah,
like I remember every time I read about it, it's like a legendary flop. Yeah. So the guy who played the Lone Ranger is Clinton Spilsbury, who was a photographer. He was not an actor. He was apparently very difficult to work with, getting involved in several fights, and he also could not act. According to one of the assistant director trainees, you just never believed what he was saying because he memorized the lines, but he never internalized them. It was like he was just reading the script, but the intonations were wrong. And so he ended up being overdubbed. He was actually dubbed by James Keach. So that was the first problem with the movie. The bigger problem was that it got a bunch of bad publicity because the producers sued Clayton Moore, who was the original Lone Ranger. Throughout, they thought that the character of the Lone Ranger would be harmed because Clayton Moore still in the 80s or in the late 70s would do appearances dressed as the Lone Ranger. He would like go to things dressed as the Lone Ranger. And you're talking about like going to see kids in hospitals and shit like that. You know what I mean? And they thought like him dressing up as the Lone Ranger devalued the remake of this movie. So they filed a cease and desist order. They got a court injunction barring him from appearing in public with his Lone Ranger, with the Lone Ranger costume.
Oh, what an ass. That's terrible.
And he was only allowed to sign autographs as the Masked Man. He was not allowed to sign autographs as the Lone Ranger anymore. So that is terrible. And the overall terrible acting, was it was quite a flop.
Wow.
So maybe don't sue. It'd be like if the producers of Batman sued Adam West, for daring to go to the hospital and entertain kids with cancer dressed as Batman.
Oh my God. That is terrible.
Yeah.
When you say the Lone Ranger costume,
cowboy hat and a mask, white cowboy suit and a mask, cowboy duds. What do you call a cowboy suit?
Oh man.
May 1982, the Weather Channel began broadcasting in the United States, which you would just turn it on. It would be like a static picture with the weather on a ticker on the bottom. That's pretty much what it was.
And it was funny, like we would tune in and sit on that channel for a little while, waiting for it to change. Yeah, nothing would happen.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you for saying that, because now I remember how silly I was, or how silly I felt sitting there waiting for something to. It's like watching a stop sign, hoping it's going to turn green. Nothing happened.
I mean, it was like basically like a static. It was basically a slideshow. Yeah.
Did they do school closings on that channel or no?
They might have, because it was local weather, so it's probably they did.
I remember watching it for that reason.
Yeah, that was a perk of me having my mom being a teacher in the school district, was that I never had to wait for school closings. Because she would get a phone call. They did like a chain of teachers, so she was part of the teacher phone call chain. So if the phone rang at like 5 a.m., I knew that school was canceled.
Nice.
Without even I just knew if I heard the phone ring, and it was already going to be inclement weather. Like I knew like I was good to go. I would sleep so well. I'd be like, oh, this is great. I got the whole day off. Some notable 1982 movies: Conan the Barbarian, Annie, and Rocky 3.
There were a lot of notable 1982 movies.
Well, this was just May.
Shit.
Yeah. Try to keep up, Dutch. May 1983, the V miniseries began on NBC.
I remember that.
Classic.
We watched it as a family.
Yeah, that's
When
awesome.
she ate that guinea pig.
Yo, her jaw dropped in that thing. Oh, I was
I think
not
we
ready
talked
for
about that before. That's all we talked about on the playground the next day after she ate that.
Yeah.
What was it? A guinea pig or a hamster or something?
Something like that. I was not ready.
Yeah.
Wasn't just mouth.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
should remember all the characters on that. That was like Diana and Lydia, and that was Donovan. And you remember what's his face? It's Ham Tyler. The
Yeah.
who's the guy from he was in Starship Troopers. He's like the colonel or something. The sergeant. What is that guy's name?
Michael Ironside?
Yes, Michael Ironside.
Yeah. Also, 1983, Return of the Jedi was released. And that was the last of the Star Wars movies. Nothing since.
Last of the good Star Wars movies.
No, that's not necessarily true.
Come on.
Man, Rogue One is great.
Okay, pardon me. I stand corrected. Rogue One is a great flick.
I was forgetting.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Well, I won't forget Rogue One because Andor's on.
There we go.
Here's some 1984 movies. Firestarter and Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom came out in May. 1985 movies. May 1985. Rambo: First Blood Part 2. A View to a Kill. Brewster's Millions and Fletch. A View to a Kill. Roger Moore is so goddamn old in that movie. It is mind-boggling.
It's awful.
And Dolph Lundgren is so young in that movie.
Oh, that's right. He's in that.
As well as Grace Jones, his girlfriend.
Yeah. She got him the part in it, I think.
She got him the part, and she tried to kill him at some point.
Yeah,
She tried to stab him.
He's like the milkman spy with the exploding milk bottles or something.
Yep.
What a goofy ass movie. And the funny thing is, that's not even the oldest movie that Roger Moore did as Bond. He's even older in what's the one after that with the chick from that 70s show. What the hell's that movie?
It was after the Pussy, right?
Yeah, this 1985 was A View to a Kill, and then he was in one more.
Really?
Or maybe A View to a Kill is the last one, which is
Maybe A View to Kill is the last one.
It might be the last one. Well, The View to Kill is the one with Christopher Walken, who's a great bad guy.
Oh yeah, he's so good.
Yeah, but yeah, man, he's really old. Way too old to be playing.
Loved it.
Way too old to be playing this one. All right, May 1985. Here's an event that we've touched on a few times, but I actually went and I got some info on it. May 1985, which makes it the 40th anniversary of the Move bombing, which we talked about last episode. We've talked about it a few times. 1985, Mayor Wilson Goode orders the police to raid the Move headquarters, and a small bomb was detonated on top of 6221 Osage Avenue. 6 adults and 5 children were killed in a fire that destroyed the entire block, along with 250 homes. Move was a communal organization that followed the philosophies of anarcho-primitivism, which basically advocated for nature laws and natural living things. And it was kind of like hippies and Black Panthers combined, kind of. So it was founded in 1972 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania by John Africa, not his real name. The organization combined, like I said, the reactionary ideology of Black Panthers with the nature and animal-loving communalism of the hippies, and all of the members have the surnames of Africa. They staged demonstrations against zoos and any speakers that they opposed. They were very much into like nature and all that. They were very disliked by law enforcement, especially Frank Rizzo, who, if you've learned anything or know anything about the history of Philadelphia, Frank Rizzo was a terrible, not good guy. A little bit racist.
Was also
Sorry. Sorry, Dutch. Go ahead. Dutch is having lots of technical problems, ladies and gentlemen. He's struggling. We're doing our best. In 1978, during a standoff with the police, Officer James Ramp was killed. 9 members were convicted of killing the officer. Each received prison sentences of 30 to 100 years.
Whoa.
In an article published by The Guardian in 2018, quote, eyewitnesses gave accounts suggesting that the shot may have come from the opposite direction, raising the possibility that Ramp was accidentally killed by a fellow police officer. In 1981, they were living on Osage Avenue, like I said. They were not good neighbors. People on the street hated them. There was trash around the building. They were loud. They had a bullhorn that they would broadcast announcements and obscene messages on. In 1985, arrest warrants were issued charging 4 occupants with crimes, including parole violations, contempt of court, illegal possessions of firearms, and making terroristic threats. And then on Monday, May the 13th, 1985, 500 police officers, including city manager Leo Brooks, arrived in an attempt to clear the building and execute warrants. Residents were evacuated prior to the action, but they were told they would be able to return to their homes within a day. They shut off the water and electricity to force the members out. Commissioner Sambor read a long speech that started with, "Attention, move. This is America. You have to abide by the laws of the United States." They did not come out or respond, so they decided to forcibly remove all 13 members, which was 7 adults and 6 children. They threw tear gas at the building, and then the MOVE members fired at them. And then a 90-minute gunfight ensued where police used more than 10,000 rounds of ammunition before Commissioner Sambor ordered that they just drop a bomb on the house, which is what they did. So
that is terrible.
Yeah, from a police helicopter, Frank Powell dropped 2 one-pound bombs made of Tovex, which is like a not quite C4, but better than dynamite. They dropped it on a cubicle on the roof of the house, which immediately burst into flames. The fire killed 11 people in the house, including 5 children aged 7 to 13. Fire spread, destroying 60 houses on Osage Avenue and Pine Street. 65 houses, on Osage Avenue and Pine Street, leaving 250 people homeless. The fire department was advised to not go near the house because they said that they would be shot at, which may or may not be true. I think they just wanted the house to burn down. A year later in March, a report came out, the MOVE Commission, it was called, which denounced the actions by the government, stating that dropping a bomb on an occupied row house is unconscionable. Following the release of the report, Wilson Good made a formal apology. No one from the city was ever criminally charged. The only surviving member, Ramona Africa, refused to testify in court, and she was charged and convicted of riot and conspiracy. She served 7 years. In 1996, a federal jury ordered the city to pay $1.5 million judgment to Ramona Africa and relatives of the people killed. They found that the city used excessive force and violated their constitutional protections against unreasonable search and seizure. In 2005, a federal judge provided over a civil trial by residents seeking damages of the destruction, and basically the neighbors were awarded $12.8 million against the city of Philadelphia, which the taxpayers of Philadelphia all happily paid, I'm sure. But yes, that is MOVE. That is the only time in our history of this country thus far that American citizens were bombed by the government of the country.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts. And that was a huge deal. Like I said, we talked about it a little bit last episode. Happier news: 1986, No Retreat, No Surrender, Short Circuit, Top Gun, Cobra, and Poltergeist 2 came out. And in 1986, which I should have waited and done it next year for the 40th anniversary, but it's interesting, so we'll do it now. And how Bolo, you'll remember. Quinn, you'll remember. Dutch, you will not remember. Hands Across America was 1986 in May.
Wow.
And yeah, which is crazy. It was Hands Across America was organized by Ken Cragen, who was a co-founder of USA for Africa, which we talked about when we did the Live Aid and not the Live Aid, the
We Are the World.
We Are the World episode. And it took place on Sunday, May 25th, 1986. And it was basically what they tried to do is get everybody they wanted to get a human chain across the entire continent of the United States by everyone holding hands. Coca-Cola agreed to sponsor the event. Hey, we talked about Coca-Cola last episode, covering an estimated $19 million in costs. Other sponsors were Citibank, McDonald's, Ticketmaster, and Safeway. Because it was the 80s, there was a song.
Yeah.
So 80s.
That is
Very 80s. Quinn knows it. He's singing along. The song was written by Mark Blatt, John Carney, and Larry Gottlieb. Featured lead vocals from Joe Sarasano and Sandy Farina, who were, I think, just studio singers. I don't think they were in a band or anything. But the band that played the song was Toto. Yeah. On January 18th of 1986, a bunch of celebrities joined hands with locals on the street of Taft, California, to film a video for the song, which was set to air during Super Bowl XX. That's 20, right? For the halftime show. However, Michael Jackson, known bastard, insisted that We Are the World should be played during the Super Bowl. So only portions of the Hands Across America video were showed at halftime. The song was not played at all. However, it was played on Good Friday, 1986. 8,000 radio stations played it at the same time, which is kind of the same thing that happened with We Are the World. All those radio stations played them at once when it first came out. The song peaked at number 65. So it was not the hit that
they wanted.
That We Are the World, that's for sure. Participants were asked to donate $10 to join in the chain. Many people just joined the chain anyway. Celebrities and companies could sponsor portions of the line at a cost of $13,200 per mile, since it was estimated that 1,320 people would be needed to make a mile. Prince was the first person to buy a mile. So that's cool. Yeah. Locally in Philly, the line looped around the Philadelphia Museum of Art. Members of the Philadelphia Eagles participated in front of Independence Hall. Joe Frazier Jr. Joined in front of his father's gym on Broad Street. It crossed over the Ben Franklin Bridge, where Dionne Warwick joined the line. It went into Camden, New Jersey, where Tony Danza was in line. Even more locally, at Delaware Park in Wilmington, they suspended horse racing for 15 minutes because the line went across the racetrack. Under the Susquehanna River in Maryland, a group of scuba divers connected the line. So that's kind of cool.
That was probably more than $10 a mile, I think. You could do it underwater. Or $10.
$10 each. Approximately 5.5 million people participated. However, the chain was broken in a lot of places, especially in the Southwest desert, obviously, because they weren't going to get a ton of people
right
in the middle of the desert holding hands. but they figured that it would have been enough if it had been more spaced out evenly along the route. Mostly cities were jam-packed, obviously, and then remote areas were not. So they did fill in the gaps using ribbons and ropes and banners. Total amount of donations was $36.5 million. 27.8 million coming from individuals, another 8.6 million from corporations.
Where'd all that
but so out of the 36 million, after the operating costs and everything, it only left 15 million distributed to charities, which I mean, still,
Right.
So I mean, I always remembered that as being, like a failure, but apparently, I guess it wasn't. For some reason,
being like a patriotic thing, I don't, you know what I mean? I didn't think of it like a charity at the time.
Yeah.
It just sounded like a rah-rah America type thing.
Yeah, I didn't think. I remember it always. There were a lot of jokes about it because of the gaps,
Right.
in the line. Apparently, it was fairly, I guess, well organized. So yeah, moving to 1987, movies: Ernest Goes to Camp, Creepshow 2, Beverly Hills Cop 2, which was a change. The first Beverly Hills Cop came out in December, so they moved it to a summer release for the sequel. In 1988, we had Maniac Cop, Friday the 13th, Part 7, Willow, which we talked about a little bit in the Val Kilmer episode, Crocodile Dundee 2, Rambo 3, and another favorite of mine, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And in 1989, we had the classic Roadhouse, the other classic Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and the other classic Earth Girls Are Easy.
I remember that.
And that wraps up to the 90s, brings us up to the 90s. That is your back in the day. Let's talk about.
And now, our feature presentation.
All right. It seems we have lost Dutch. I guess he's given up with his technical difficulties.
He also mentioned his phone was dying, so.
Yeah.
And then there's that.
And then there was that. Now playing, obviously, we are going to talk about the Thunderbolts. So there will be spoilers at some point. I don't know how much is spoilery anyway, but anything you guys want to touch on before we get into Thunderbolts? I know you guys are both behind on The Last of Us.
Yes, I did not. I forgot all about it.
Yeah,
One behind. I just haven't seen the one from
last night.
Yeah.
Okay. So since we talked about it last, how are you feeling still?
On Thunderbolts?
No, on The Last of Us.
I like it. It's keeping my interest after the
The
horrificness. The shocking death.
Still got to be careful, but it's keeping my interest. I think it's ramping up the action this season.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't quite buy that Dina is in love with Ellie.
Yeah.
Because I feel like she's been just playing with her the whole time. So I didn't. That switch seemed kind of abrupt to me, and I don't really trust it. But I thought the acting in it was really good. I've heard that guitar scene is like note for note from the game, which is impressive.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it was pretty. It's pretty intense. That whole underground train zombie fight was crazy exciting. So
and in the game, that was also fantastic. That sequence on that train, and because that's what it looks like. It's dark, it's red lit. It's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, it's so close in there.
Oh man.
Yeah. So there's also a little suspension of disbelief of how easily they get out of that car. You know what I mean? Like go through the roof hatch, and I'm just with their super boosts. I guess I was like, oh, they can fly now.
Yeah, I know. I died hundreds of times in that part.
I know. I did.
I think I had that. I think I set that game to casual because I've reached a point where I'm just like, especially a game like that, I just want the story. I don't want to die 50 times. You know what I mean? And even sometimes on casual, there's still things that will get me over and over again.
Are you currently? Yeah.
No. I'll wait till it's over. So I have some complaints with the show. I love it. I do. I'm really frustrated with certain things. And I think it's more of I'm finding me personally, and also what I'm seeing online is that a lot of game players have problems with just like the speed that things are happening, or like it's so ridiculous that it's only 7 episodes. Like it's not enough. Like it should be 10. I don't get the whole we're only going to do 7 episodes thing. Like, especially when last night's episode was 45 minutes, you know, like,
you think they're just rushing things for the hell of it, or you think it's a budget?
No, I think they're doing the best they can with what they've been given, which was they were told you have 7 episodes. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's the vibe I get. Certain things, I don't know. I mean, it's fine. I'm happy with it as an adaptation, and I think I need to look at it as an adaptation and not
the game itself.
Not expect it to be 1-to-1 to the game. Because everybody that I would say 90% of the people that I know that didn't play the game are super into it and don't have most of the complaints that I have as someone who played the game. So I'm just trying to keep it that way. But yeah, it's good. I'm really happy with it. By the time the next episode rolls around, our next episode of the podcast rolls around, the season will be over. So we can probably just review the whole season at that point. Episode 6, which is this coming Sunday, is going to be incredible, and I will probably cry a couple of times. I'll just leave it at that.
Guys that have played the game have prepared me for the worst for this whole season.
Yeah. It's the next episode's just going to be. It's going to be really good. It's going to be really, really good. There's going to be a lot of very emotional things in it that I'm not. Well, we can talk about it a little bit more later when it after the fact. But
I do love the making of the episode right after the episode.
I like all that stuff. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It gives a little more insight to what they're trying to do and what they're trying to accomplish, considering the game is what it is, and they're trying to do a show to make it more accessible for a larger audience. And I appreciate that because just like the one episode that I think it was episode 2 where you had the Joel sequence and then the epic battle in the town, the fact that was ad hoc, so to speak, in terms of, hey, we're going to do this. This was not in the game. It made for great storytelling for me. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Visually, that one was amazing.
Yes, it was.
Did we talk about the one? Because they all kind of blend together for me. But Jeffrey Wright, we talk about him.
Yeah. Wait, did we?
No, we didn't.
I don't know if we did get to that episode. Yeah, he's awesome. I think we might have because he plays that character in the game as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, and he's a little more fleshed out. No, I guess we didn't because that would have been last week's episode where he's torturing the guy with the cooking utensils.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty brutal.
He looks like a badass. He looks fit. Like I'm used to him as kind of like dumpy Commissioner Gordon or Felix Leiter in the James Bond movie.
Yeah.
But,
did you see him in Shaft?
No.
Well, Shaft is. I mean, you're talking about a 25-year-old movie, Chris Jones.
Yeah, but he's fantastic in Shaft because he plays a Spanish guy, and you swear he's Puerto Rican. Jeffrey Wright. I'm serious. I am serious.
Who's the bad guy in Shaft?
Christian
the main
Bale.
villain? Yeah, Christian Bale. It's so crazy.
Now I'm gonna have to see Shaft.
Yeah, it's not bad. The Samuel L.
It's a good movie.
It's not bad. All right, let's talk Thunderbolts. We will do spoilers. I don't think there's a lot to spoil, but we will do spoilers, so be warned. If you are going to bail because of spoilers, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. But
I think
right.
that would listen has already seen it. But yeah, go.
Yeah, I would think so too. So yeah, Thunderbolts. Us three went and saw. I know Dutch went and saw it. He said it. I think he said it was fine. I don't know. I thought it was better than fine. So, I like. First off, I think it felt like a real movie, and it had like a beginning, middle, and end, and it didn't feel like let's just film a bunch of stuff and edit it together and to try to make a coherent story out of it. It felt like a well-written movie, if that makes sense. Like,
I thought it was fantastic. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I liked that it only had a few locations and it didn't have a ton of different set pieces, and it looked like they were at the locations they were at, and it didn't look like they were just in that volume room where they just can put whatever background they want. It felt like they were there. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that the comedy in it was appropriate comedy and like timed correct comedy, and like when there was a serious moment, they didn't feel the need to stick a quip in there to like break up the seriousness of it, and that the humor was more like because of the characters themselves are just inherently humorous and not.
Yeah, it was not manufactured comedy.
Yeah,
right.
Like
I get that. Like
Yelena has a breakdown at one point,
right?
Talking to her dad.
Yeah, and I'm with her on that journey. You know what I mean?
He didn't tell a joke at the end. And and of all of the characters, he's the most comic, like jokey character. And he didn't have a quip. And the whole time she was talking, when she was like, "All I do is I'm all by myself. All I do is sit at home and look at my phone and I drink."
Right.
And the whole time that she was doing that, I was like, dude, if he quips at the end of this, I'm going to be so angry. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he didn't. And that was so nice that he didn't have a quip.
And I was expecting one. I was waiting.
Yeah, of course you are, because you've been trained to expect a quip.
Right.
Yeah. But tell you what, at the end of that, when she says, "Okay, that was really good," that's funny.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's not a quip.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
It's funny.
Yeah.
So they pulled that off well.
Yeah.
Yelena's so good, dude. She's such a good actor, so watchable.
I love her. I think it was almost a Black Widow Part 2 movie. I mean, it was definitely her movie more than anybody else's movie, right?
Yeah, that's what I felt.
Yeah. And she's fucking great. I mean, as much as I like Scarlett Johansson and as much as I like Black Widow, dude, Yelena is on another level of awesome. I think she's just
she's great.
Yeah, like Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow has had some incredible action scenes and stuff that I don't think Yelena's quite had yet. But just as an overall like well developed like 3-dimensional character, she's so much better. I'm not saying she's even a better actress or anything. I'm just saying she's a better written character.
Yeah, she's more fun to watch.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow, she has her style. She's awesome. She's a badass. Yelena's fun. She's fun to watch.
Yeah, I could listen to that accent forever because her accent is just it's
adorable, hilarious,
great. It's just great. Yeah.
She makes the Hawkeye series so much fun. Her and Kate Bishop. The fact that she calls her Kate Bishop the whole time.
Yeah, I love that character. I think she's awesome. But I loved all the characters. I mean, even Ghost, who's such a throwaway villain in that Ant-Man movie.
Yeah.
I really liked her character. I like John Walker's character.
John Walker's great in it. Ghost didn't have a lot to do.
But the stuff he did was cool, and John Walker I liked. Bucky, of course.
That you have to put up with is hilarious. He's really good at it.
Yeah, I also didn't think it didn't feel like I was watching a movie that was only made so that you could go and see the next movie, which I also liked.
Right.
Like it didn't feel like it was an advertisement for the next thing, which is nice. Also nice that you never see the hero group get so absolutely wrecked that they run away. which they do. You know what I mean? When they're fighting the Sentry, they're just like fuck it, and they all pile into that elevator You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Which is the Avengers element.
yeah, which is cool. Like you never see. I don't know. I liked it. I thought that was pretty awesome.
So clear that they would do nothing.
Yeah,
And they're just like, all right, that's
Yeah.
enough.
they literally
it's
cannot do
just-
anything against him. Yeah,
Yeah, it's time to go.
yeah.
It's time to go. I'm done.
Yeah. The
I shot my shot.
yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, the story, such as it is, I mean, it's Valentina. What the fuck's her last name? Played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Something like that.
Valentina.
Is being investigated by, I guess, Congress. And she's secretly done a project where she's trying to create a superhero. Because the Avengers no longer are a thing to come and save people anymore. So turns out all of the superheroes that she's tried to create have died, except for this one that they can't quite figure out how he survived. They didn't even know he was alive, named Bob, who is just like a fuck up guy. But he's super likable character, but he's just got problems. He's like an ex-addict and he's depressed and he's had a shitty childhood. But yeah, lo and behold, he's given these superpower, and he's like honestly ridiculously overpowered. Like how they're gonna fix him or use him going forward, I don't know. But
He's like that in the comic too.
yeah. So I don't know. There was nothing about it that I really had a problem with. Why is Bucky a congressman? I don't know. That there's no point to that, I guess.
Yeah, what they're trying to do there. Just rehabilitate his image, I guess, so he can eventually be Captain America. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like honestly, if at the end of Endgame he had been given the shield, nobody would have batted an eye. It would have been fine. You know, I would have been fine with it.
He was a.
I mean, he was a mass murderer, I guess, but
Yeah, well.
yeah. But I mean, there's no point in him being a congressman. And honestly, at the end of the movie, is he a congressman anymore, or is he just done? Because it's not really specified. He just kind of is like, fuck it, I guess I'll go be a superhero for a bit. And then he's in this new team. So
I wonder if they're going to make him president.
that'd be interesting, actually.
Yeah.
He was struggling as a senator.
Yeah, I mean, he seems very disinterested. That's for sure.
It was legit funny.
Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think?
I thought it was fine. Chris Jones, I know you loved it, so I'll go first, and then you can tell us all the reasons why you loved it. It was the acting scenes were okay. I also was not surprised at any point during the movie by anything that happened.
Same here.
I did like that. You know, they deal with mental health in a pretty deep way for a Marvel movie.
Yep.
Not for any sort of, I don't know, legit film, like Scorsese would say. You know what I mean? They don't hit it that hard.
No.
I like that they were able to solve the the main plot because they're dysfunctional and they all could relate. So I like that aspect of it. But we've seen Marvel movies kind of rise above and be awesome movies, and I don't know that this is one. This is just, I think it's a step up from what we've seen recently, but this would not make my top 10 Marvel movies, probably not my top 15. I did like that it's different in that it's a bunch of anti-heroes. It's better than Suicide Squad.
Yep.
Seems more natural than Suicide Squad. But it's I don't know that it breaks really any new ground. I wasn't blown away. I didn't walk out of there going, man, that was awesome. So that said, I enjoyed it. It was fine. Like, to quote Dutch, it was fine.
Yeah. What are you giving it out of 7 out of 10, I should say?
I'd probably say a 6. One of the things I did love that I think was brilliant was when they're unveiled as, spoiler, the new Avengers. It's immediately followed by a montage of media shitting on them.
Yeah,
which
I loved that.
Really like that.
Yeah.
Because that's what the internet was going to do anyway. Like, if they really tried to bill them as the new Avengers, everybody would be shitting on them. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and I love that. I thought that was fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's a great way to do that.
Yeah, I loved that.
I thought Julia Louis-Dreyfus was silly the whole time.
Yeah, she is. But you know, like I like her as a villain.
I do too, but they could have made her an evil Nick Fury, but she's a cartoon character, and I don't like that.
She's like a mustache twirling.
Yeah, yeah, I don't care for that.
Yeah. Hang on, Bolo. Let me give my, because I all the shit I said. I also thought it was fine. Maybe a little better than fine. I liked that when I left the movie, I had way less complaints than I did positives, which for the last few movies has not been the case. So I like that the ending was not a CGI laser fest. I like that basically it was basically like group therapy at the end, which is how they defeated, the Sentry. I like that they did not kill the Sentry because they always waste their villains, I feel like.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So I'm really glad they didn't do that because they do have a tradition of killing cool villains. I was a little bit, I mean, it didn't matter one way or the other, but the stuff with the Taskmaster at the beginning in that 4-way fight was pretty cool. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more Taskmaster before she was unceremoniously shot in the face.
They've done that. And that also hurts Ghost's character. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't realize Ghost was that ruthless.
Yeah, she shoots her right in the face. Yeah. I loved everything from when they were revealed as the new Avengers was cool. The post-credit scene was fucking great. Yeah. Do you know that post-credit scene was directed by the Russo brothers?
I did not.
Yeah.
I was unimpressed by the post-credit scene.
Oh, I loved it. I thought
it's spoiled in the credits, just like you said.
Well, yeah. But that's not the part that I liked them interacting with each other in the post-credit scene.
That where they are acknowledging that they are on the lower end of the tier for whatever Sam puts together for his real Avengers.
Yeah. That's the stuff that the Russos, I think, do good, though, is the interacting of the heroes with each other, which you don't get to see enough lately.
Yeah. I didn't realize the Russo brothers directed that part. That's pretty awesome.
Did they direct that part, but I think it was filmed like 3 weeks or a month before the movie came out.
Really?
Yeah. So yeah, that was cool. And then the big spoiler. It was spoiled before the spoiler. That you saw the Fantastic Four score credit in the credits before the Fantastic Four post credits scene. Although I'm not gonna lie, that was a good that got me fairly excited for Fantastic Four. So I would give it a 7, a high 6, 7 out of 10 Van Helsings. I liked it quite a bit. It was definitely not up there with my favorite stuff, but it was definitely made me feel better about the direction that the franchise is going. How about you, Bolo?
Other characters are very likable.
Yeah, I love all those characters. Yeah.
Sorry, Bolo. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'll just start off with my rating. And Quinn and I discussed this on the car ride home before I ended up stalling out. We'll get to that later.
Poor Bolo.
Essentially, oh man, so bad. But I'm gonna go with like a high 7 out of 10 Van Helsings. I enjoyed the film. I like all these characters. I'm a fan of the Red Guardian, probably more so than most, because I can relate. I love the big guys. You know what I mean?
He's better in this than he is in Black Widow. That's for sure.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He's less funny. He's more serious. That scene with him and Elena where she's having that epic meltdown and he's being a genuine concerned father. I got behind because it's just like, I think I can relate. I've had conversations like that with my daughter. You know what I mean? Of her going through something. So that hit home for me. I enjoyed that. I'm a fan of John Walker as the Captain America, and it's funny because I think he there's a space where he it looks like he has a serum, but he doesn't. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't have that Captain America like that flair as Chris Evans did with the serum. You know what I mean?
He can't fight as well as Captain America. He's just
No,
you know
he cannot.
He jumped really high though.
He's got the strength, but he just doesn't have. He's not fluid with it. He's just a regular dude almost.
Yeah, he's not polished. You know what I mean? Chris Evans, Captain America fighting scenes ever since the Winter Soldier
he didn't
have been epic.
The Russo's directing him either, so we'll have to give him.
Agreed. Yelena, love her, of course. I was a little disappointed with the whole Taskmaster getting just crushed in that sequence, because she was absolutely awesome in Black Widow. Like, my whole thing is I expected her to run that room.
Yeah, she should have wiped the floor with all of them.
Exactly, considering her abilities. You know what I mean? So that bothered me a little bit. That I felt that was a little lackluster. I think there was a missed opportunity there. But the rest of the film, thoroughly enjoyed. I like Bob. I realized Bob, his father is Pullman, the guy who. Yeah. I was like, holy cow! Didn't know that until just recently.
Well, but what a rise for this guy! Because we just watched him. All of us just watched him in Salem's Lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which one was he? He was in Salem's Lot.
He was also
character in Salem's Lot.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
He's also in Top Gun Maverick.
Well, we were saying that when we were watching Salem's Lot. We're like, oh, that's Bob from Top Gun.
Right. And then he's Bob again.
Yeah, now he's Bob again. I just saw something on YouTube Reels where they have him introducing himself as like a split screen of him introducing himself as Bob.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it's Lewis Pullman is his name. He did a really great job of, just like Brian said, kind of riding that line. Like, he's troubled, but still likable.
Yeah.
You feel for him. That was a difficult thing to play, I think, and give heart to, and he was able to pull that off.
Yeah, so I really liked his character a lot. I thought he was a cool idea for a different kind of a villain. Oh, I mean, really, the villain was like sadness and depression, really, which is interesting for a movie like this.
What made it for me is Walker could not be more of an asshole to him, and he's just like, okay. With that kind of like, you're an asshole. All right. Yeah, that's fine. That's just who you are. You're an asshole. I'm just going to be me.
Yeah. So, I liked it.
That's all.
I look forward to seeing more of that character, though. Like I said, I just don't know how without seriously nerfing him.
Dude, the Dark Avengers in the comics fight the Sentry at one point, and their version of Thor, who was Ares, the Greek god of war, Sentry rips him in half.
Yeah, that's God.
Rips him in half. So,
yeah, I mean, the fight scene we get with him, literally nobody does anything to him.
No, they don't touch him.
Yeah,
nah.
Stops bullets like Neo.
Yeah,
and then they run away, like
yeah,
like the Scooby-Doo gang running from a.
He just pops. He fucked his arm off, and like Ghost has to grab it.
Yeah,
it's him later.
Yeah. There were some stakes in that fight, though. Like, honestly, there were a couple of times where I was like, are they going to kill one of these characters off in this fight? Because nobody can do anything to him. Where actually, for a minute, I was like, I wonder if they're going to kill Bucky here. Because, how much more are they going to do with Bucky, I wonder, going forward? But, like, I was, I don't know. I mean, it had that kind of a vibe where they were so unbelievably outmatched.
Yeah. And the fact that Red Guardian went out of the window, I was like, oh, he's dead. but he pulled him back in.
Yeah.
It's been cool if they just let him fall.
Yeah.
Like, would he survive that? I don't know.
I don't know. He's got a version of the super soldier serum, right? So maybe.
I did like that combo too. He's like, "What kind of super serum did you get?"
Yeah.
Bucky's like, Hydra, I guess. He's like, "Oh, what's he say? Like Nancy or something like." Like,
I love how he's very impressed with everything Bucky does. He's like super. Like Bucky is like a Soviet hero.
Yeah. But Red Guardian, like, he's an over the top guy. In Black Widow, he was an over the top character.
Mm-hmm.
This one, he's just an over the top guy. Like they toned it down perfectly.
Yeah, he works really well in this movie.
He's still in character, but he is not cartoonish as he was in the first one. Even with the gag with the limousine and all that, even with all that, he plays really well with the other ones. And like you said, his kind of hero worship of Bucky is really funny.
Yeah.
John Walker's such a good character. Like Kurt Russell's son plays that so well. You got to see some of his backstory or hint at it, and then feel the awkwardness because he had talked about his family so much.
Yeah.
So there's really nice touches in it, but it just doesn't have a lot of punch at the end of the day. The whole movie,
right?
So,
I agree. I mean, I think as a whole, and as considering what Marvel has kind of the rut it's been in, I do feel like it is a step forward at least.
I can tell you it's way more rewatchable than I think the last Captain Falcon was.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? I'll watch this much more than I'll watch the other one. And I didn't hate the other one. And they talk about the string of failures. I didn't hate the Marvels. I think we all like that when we saw it.
I enjoy the Marvels. I enjoy the Marvels a lot. And don't get me wrong, like I appreciate that those women, I mean, not to go on a super long tangent about Marvels, but those women performing those stunts and making them look believable are the choreography is fantastic.
A lot of it was CGI.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like the in and out, switching.
Yeah. That fight scene where they're glitching in and out is cool as shit.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
But a lot of our criticisms about these movies that haven't performed well is because the Marvel universe has no direction.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Not typically the movie itself. It's almost like the movie serves no purpose.
Right.
We're used to all these movies building to something.
Yeah.
And we hold it against these movies. The movies in and of themselves are pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
Like, don't get me wrong, like I and maybe I'm just I'm in love with Doctor Strange, but I like the second movie as well. But we don't know where it's going. But and just like you have Quinn, you have multiverse fatigue. You're all done with that.
Oh my. So is everyone, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I expected something completely different from what I got from that movie, but I still love, Doctor Strange. I think that's those are fine films for me.
Yeah, it's cool. If you didn't watch WandaVision, you're lost.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I said with Thunderbolts, if you didn't watch Falcon and Winter Soldier, you're probably lost a little bit.
Yeah, not as much, but yeah. I mean, Kevin Feige came right out and said it in an interview. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. He's like, we were giving people homework, and that's not the approach that you should take. Like, people shouldn't have to do homework to understand our movies. So,
but if you for this one, you had to see Black Widow, you had to see Ant-Man 2, and the Falcon and Winter Soldier
series
and Hawkeye shows.
Yeah.
To watch this, you know what I mean? You would have had to seen Julia Louis-Dreyfus in one of those brief moments that she's in the other movies to even know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, what's her purpose, right?
Yeah.
So that's a lot of work. Now it doesn't matter to us. We saw all that shit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's not a complaint for us, but when you wonder why the movie isn't doing as well, maybe that's why.
Yeah. Yeah. All All right, I think that's the show. Unless you guys got any more final thoughts on Thunderbolts.
No, I think I'm good. I'm a fan of the movie. I'll probably watch it again once it hits streaming.
Bolo, that goes without saying. You're going to watch it again when it hits streaming.
Yeah,
this is
I
true.
watch it 3 times when it hits streaming.
Buy movies even though they're on streaming.
Dude,
I haven't bought anything since streaming. I'm looking to get rid of DVDs.
No,
do
not do that.
Why not?
Because there's no guarantee they're always going to be on streaming.
Yeah.
If you have a DVD, you have a DVD.
What are you going to play it on?
I'm on a DVD.
I got a PlayStation 5.
I mean, unless Disney starts sending people out to your houses to snap your DVDs in half, which I guess anything's possible in 2025. But I mean, do not get rid of your physical media. Like, I'm not saying buy more, but I mean, you could, but I'm
not buying any more.
I would definitely not get rid of it.
I'm not buying anything else.
I bought the Blu-ray for Master and Commander, and that's the last one I bought. So whatever that came out is the last time I bought any sort of film. I was going to say, and we can talk about it next week. I did see Sinners.
Okay, I'm going to watch it too. Me and Brandy are going to watch it. So
I gotta see it when I get back from my vacation.
It's worth a discussion.
Yeah, well, I definitely want to see that. And then Last of Us will have ended when we next reconvene, so we'll do that. And also, Andor will have ended. Tomorrow night is the last 3 episode drop. And so we'll have to talk about that because I need to talk about that show with somebody because
I'm on episode 4. And the best part of the series so far was that banging techno song at the during the wedding that they kept cutting to.
That's a bop. Dude, oh my God, dude. Episodes 7, 8, and 9 are might be the 3 best episodes of TV I've seen in like 10 years. It's fucking incredible.
Right. Andor hyperbole continues.
No, dude, I'm telling you that. I mean, dude, it's so good. Okay, that's it. I'm not saying anything else. It's just good. Everyone should watch it. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Tell your friends to listen. Give us a 5-star review on the podcast app that you use. And tell your friends to listen to the pod because that is the way we get new listeners, and we like to have new listeners. And I think having said that, we are done. Bye, 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 bye.
So treat her right. Mother, I always love her. My mother, so treat her right.